National and Olympian Jesse Fleming.
Yeah, the Bruins have so many options. Never hurts to have an All-American and Hermann Trophy watch list member. Jesse Fleming, 2 goals, 3 assists. She didn't even have a shot in the last goal in the match. Doesn't even matter.
UCLA is celebrating its 25th anniversary. They've won conference titles, national championships, but no team in school history has ever scored this much, this fast. Santa Barbara and UCLA next on the Pac-12 networks.
You're watching Pac-12 Los Angeles, home of the UCLA Bruins and the USC Trojans. Available on Time Warner, Cox, and Bright House.
Hi, I'm Michael Atkins, University of Colorado football. Play running back here.
And again, Atkins gets the call and slips to the 10-yard line, gets a block at a 5 with momentum, carries him into the end zone. Touchdown, Michael Atkins. Great run.
So I chose to come to the University of Colorado. Great academics, and 2, it's Pac-12 football, so I'll be able to compete with the best of the best. Nice mountains, good change of scenery from my hometown of San Diego, so it was just overall a great fit for me. So I'm currently majoring in business with an emphasis in finance. Before I actually got into the curriculum at the business school, my initial passion was to become a CEO when I grew up. Now that I've learned some of the options and tracks I can go, look to be financial analyst or, helping people manage their money and things of that nature. Michael Atkins, University of Colorado football, go Buffs.
You've been the definition of fight on. I'm asking for one last thing from this team. You fight for 60 minutes, you hear me? 60 minutes for the brother that stands beside you. 60 minutes for every person that's worn that uniform before you. You honor this stadium. You honor that uniform, and you fight. You fight for this team.
Tuesday, kick off the season with Inside Pac-12 football season previews.
It could be good. It could be great.
Join hosts Mike Yam, Ashley Adamson, and a collection of Pac-12 football experts. Get the scoop on what's in store for the Wildcats, the Beavs, and the Trojans. Tuesday at 7 on Pac-12 Network. Home of the UCLA Bruins and the USC Trojans. You're watching Pac-12 Los Angeles.
Temperature over 80 degrees. UCLA's picturesque campus, that's Royce Hall at the top of those steps. Anybody who's ever been to school here or even visited has sometimes taken those steps. UCLA, number 7 in the country, hosting Santa Barbara, and their head coach, Paul Stumpf, who's in his 19th season. The last 2 years has been his best, 26, 12, and 3. He's the winningest coach in school history. Brittany Rogers gets the nod, her second start in the pipes. Amanda Ball, 3 goals this year. The only other score they have, Chase Schornstein. And Kate Shoemaker, has played every minute. Only player on the team to play all 180 minutes so far. For Amanda Cromwell in UCLA, she's in her 5th season. 3 NCAA tournaments in her first 4 years and 2-time conference champions. Of course, they won it all back in 2013. Tegan Micah has been in the goal for the last 2 years for Cromwell. So they have that position nailed down. Haley Mace, the hat trick in the first half against Santa Clara last time out. Jesse Fleming, 2 goals and 3 assists. And Ashley Sanchez had 2 assists against Santa Clara. Number 1 recruit in the country and living up to the billing. Although, according to her head coach, she went through some growing pains when she first got to campus. We'll talk more about that. Jim Watson, Krista Blanc at Drake Stadium. We're going to start in this mixed light, and those shadows will continue to encroach on the pitch all the way to the far touchline until eventually we'll turn on the lights. Santa Barbara in their traveling royal blue, trimmed in white. UCLA in the home white, blue and gold. Both of these teams are capable of scoring a lot of goals and quickly. Just getting started at Drake Stadium on campus at UCLA gives us a chance to welcome in our new audience who is watching men's soccer as Washington beats Loyola Marymount 2-0. I was up in Seattle, and welcome to sunny Westwood. Jim Watson, Krista Blanc. Santa Barbara comes in 2-0. They're wearing the blue. UCLA, the home whites, 3-0. UCLA has been a ridiculous offensive team so far, outscoring their opponents 14-4. Santa Barbara has shut out both of its opponents, Idaho and San Jose State, and what Santa Barbara does is they smother you defensively. They're just not going to give up many shots.
They definitely won't. But, Coach Cromwell for the Bruins, she's happy with the scoring, but right now still a big focus is on the defense for UCLA. And she said there's no excuses. We have experience on the back line. They graduated 6 seniors, but they have 9 starters back from a team that made it to the 3rd round of the NCAA tournament last year.
Kaya McCullough plays that ball forward. First touch of the match for Haley Mace, who had the hat trick. She wears the 16. Delaney Sheehan in the corner. She's been a big surprise. Just got called into the national team recently, kind of a surprise. When she was getting recruited to UCLA, she had to send them a videotape of her high school play to get their attention. And now she's in the starting 11 for the number 7 team in the country. That's what's great. You and I do a lot of college sports at all levels, and one of the things I always love are those surprises, those athletes. You knew about Ashley Sanchez for UCLA wearing the 2. She's the number 1 recruit in the country. That's a fun story unto itself, but to find these surprises, those are the ones you find yourself rooting for. Oh, definitely so. They work hard, and they fly under the radar, and they work hard also to be noticed, and it pays off. Don't we all? That ball chipped by Mace goes a little bit wide. Again, Brittany Rogers will be in goal for Santa Barbara. They've been going with 2 different goalkeepers. Brittany Rogers played against Idaho, and Julian Maddie, the Cal transfer, Maddie Julian, she made the start against San Jose State, got the 1-0 win. That's their last game out for UCLA. They're coming off that 4-2 win over Santa Clara. Santa Clara allows 4 goals in that game. That's the first time in 53 games they've allowed more than 2 goals in a game. Yeah, tough competition, and both teams, all the scoring was in the first half. Mackenzie Serta gets her chin up, playing a little catch along that far touch line. Ashley Sanchez able to get to it and keep it in with the outside of the laces. No defensive pressure. So Sanchez advances before playing it back. Both teams will want to possess the ball, but neither team really wants to be known as a possession team. Usually in soccer, that's not necessarily a compliment. It means you're playing the ball horizontally and just kind of sitting on it. This is a nice job by the Gauchos to work it from flank to flank. And they're going to try to play a little more direct at times, but you'll also see them, as you mentioned, have some possession play. They're going to try to play their style. They know it's not going to be easy against this very talented Bruins team. There's Jessie Fleming, 21. She'll be in the middle of the park most of the night. UCLA will play through her. 2 goals, 3 assists. And Fleming is just so much fun to watch, so creative. Chips out one with the left, and I think somebody vacated space because you could see that Fleming tried to pull the string and get it back. She does anyway on her own, finds Mace right at the edge of the 18, and gets knocked off the ball. And Jim, as I mentioned as the start, Jessie Fleming, she's coming off of a match in which she did not have a single shot in the match, but it's what she does away from the ball. She opens things up for so many others. She enables players like a Haley Mace to have a hat trick and others to get involved. Amanda Ball trying to find a teammate streaking down the sideline. That was Chase Schornstein. Was a bit too strong. Heavy touch. As you see, Jessie Fleming, Canadian national team member. Since she was 15, 16 years old, played in the Olympics, won a bronze medal with Canada, and then came to college. 10 days after getting a bronze medal in Rio, comes to college and scores in her very first game. Just incredible. And Coach Cromwell says she has such a high-intensity stamina. She can just run forever. The last match pretty much ran a 12K in that one. Every minute. Fleming had 2 goals in her first game at UCLA, and she scored in her first 4. And here come the Bruins again, putting pressure on as they flood the attacking end. Again, trying to link up inside. And Santa Barbara had numbers back. There's Ball. She leads Santa Barbara with 3 tallies already. Scored in each of the first 2 games. Into the 6th minute on what is a warm day, and the temperature could drop as much as 15, 16 degrees during the course of the game. It was well into the 80s at kickoff.
Yeah, just from one side of the pitch to the other, the shaded side, not so bad. The sun still shining on the opposite flank.
Zoe Goralski almost poached that interception, forced it anyway. Delaney Sheehan cuts it back, was looking for help. Again, Santa Barbara did well in defensive transition and kept their shape. Picked up Kaya McCullough, who has been fantastic on that back line for UCLA. Basically dismissing attackers.
Yeah.
She just runs people off the ball. Almost impossible to dispossess, and then she becomes the beginning of the offense. Playing a lot of balls up the flank and getting things started. Fleming gets her chin up and looks for a service. Little flick by Sheehan to Mace. Trying to get it to the right foot. Goralski chopping it back inside. It's deflected, almost an own goal. It might have spun out of the post anyway. UCLA still with it. Well, they had about 8 players inside the 6-yard box, and nobody could get a foot on it. And Santa Barbara has to feel fortunate, especially Brittany Rogers.
Yeah, her own teammate. And this beautiful attempt, the cross by Goralski. And it's just the spin that's able to save it and keep it away from the goal and the score for the Bruins. A big help for the Gauchos.
I'll tell you, the best thing you could say about Santa Barbara's defense there was no panic, even though that ball was loose on the doorstep. They're playing most of the game so far on this side of midfield. Santa Barbara's only crossed, that's the 3rd time, and I don't think that they have a completed pass in the offensive end.
Yeah, there's nothing the passing game right now for Santa Barbara, and that's where they have to clean it up. You have to play your cleanest game against a team like UCLA. Gotta clean up and shore up the passing.
Defensively, Santa Barbara has only allowed 18 shots, and I understand that the competition that they played is not the competition that UCLA has seen so far. Santa Barbara's played Idaho and San Jose State. Rogers able to come out and get the gloves on that one. UCLA beat San Diego State in the opener 5-1. Then they played at Long Beach State and won 5-1. Came home and beat Santa Clara 4-2. So you notice 2 things. They're scoring a lot of goals, but they're playing quality competition. San Diego State favored to win its conference, Mountain West. Long Beach State favored to win the Big West. And Santa Clara is always a top 25 team. So they stacked the deck early, and they're dominating teams so far. 14-4 in goals, and they're 3-0. And keep in mind that they allowed the first goal against Santa Clara, and early, 9 minutes in, right about here, is where Santa Clara scored. UCLA came back, scored 3 in a row, led 3 in a row, led 3-2 at halftime.
Yeah, Coach Cromwell said, they have to be more aware defensively, make smarter decisions, and be ready for what the opponent brings.
Fleming. And I guess counting Mace's last goal, which was right before the half, it was 4-2 at halftime. That ended up being the final score of that Santa Clara game. My bad. Taken away by Sheehan midfield. To Sanchez. Now back to Winter. Everybody's getting a touch for UCLA. They played a lot of players, played a lot of young players so far this year. Last couple of games, they've had 7 freshmen and sophomores in the starting 11. It's a bit misleading because most of those freshmen and sophomores have national team experience. Some with World Cup. Incredible experience for this young Bruins team. The number 2 recruit class in the nation coming in this year as freshmen. Number 1 recruit class, that would be the sophomores from a year ago. Kate Shoemaker there, the number 8. She's the defensive player of the week right now in the Big West. And that one, now that got ugly in a hurry for Santa Barbara. You see the scoring, 14-4 in those 3. Santa Barbara has shut out its first 2 opponents. They've also, Santa Barbara, only allowed 5 shots on goal in the first 2 matches coming in. They're going to see 5 shots on goal at least in each half from UCLA. You know, when I was talking with Paul Stump, the Santa Barbara head coach, before the game, I asked him, I said, look, nobody expects you to beat UCLA. Do your kids see this as a chance to compete and an opportunity? And he said, you know, it's a better word, test. Yeah. We're using it as a test for ourselves. Absolutely. This is where you do it. And he told us, he said,
our goal, get to the top 4 of the Big West, then get to the Big West tournament, do some damage, and get to the NCAA tournament.
Here's Goralski dancing with it, trying to get to the right foot, chop it back in, and the one-time volley. How pretty is that? Mackenzie Serta makes it 1-0 UCLA. Second time this year the Bruins have scored on a one-time volley in the air. Fleming had the other.
Falling to the pitch, but able to just get turned in time. I mean, this is solid defense being applied by Kokoska, but an even better play by Goralski as she's able to get herself turned.
Second goal of the year for Mackenzie Serta. She also scored at Long Beach State. And that's kind of a new thing for her, too. Last year, she was part of the scoring formula, but always a facilitator. She had 6 assists last year, no goals. She's already scored twice now in the first 4 matches. And it comes in the 11th minute. And now UCLA has outscored opponents 15-4. It is the best start in UCLA women's soccer history. And they are celebrating their 25th anniversary.
Wait, Jim, it's hard to believe that they are breaking any kind of records. This is a program that's had so much success consistently. But they certainly are. 15-4 outscoring the opponent.
Absolutely. I was thinking remarkable. The same thing. When a program has been this good for this long, it's tough to break records. And here's the goal again. Watch Serta finds the space at one time. And she buries that in the back corner.
Just great movement away from the ball, coming in, good communication.
Play was created by Zoe Goralski, obviously picks up the assist. Here's Mace back to her right foot. Goralski unable to trap it. She would have had a 1v1. But it was a tough entry. It was a bit behind her. Matlich with the throw-in. Gabrielle Matlich for UCLA. Senior from Los Gatos and Archbishop Mitty, the San Jose area.
Six seniors for this UCLA team. A team that lost with PKs last year in the 3rd round to the #1 team in the nation at the time, West Virginia.
West Virginia ended up going to the final and getting beat by SC 3-1. So both SC and UCLA have won titles in the last 3 years. It was funny, Kidani McAlpine, the SC coach, after UCLA won their title, I remember having a conversation with him as UCLA goes on the attack quickly and pulling the trigger from well outside the 18. It was deflected, and Rogers does well to keep this on the field of play. McAlpine, when I asked him, what does it mean that UCLA wins a national championship? He said, inspiration.
Yeah.
I'm telling my kids who grew up in the same towns, played on the same club teams, if they did it, you can do it.
Yeah.
So don't make it an ugly thing because it's your rival. Be happy for them and use that to motivate yourself.
Definitely.
3 years later, SC wins the national title.
They sure did. How much success. It's an incredible turnaround for Coach McAlpine and the USC program. And you just said it too, so many of these players, they've played together, they've been in club ball, they've been in national team ball together. What a big plus.
And of course there's always, the Pac-12 aspect. It's a conference team. You want them to do well. Remember how the great run that Utah made last year, get to the Sweet 16.
Yeah.
They lost to SC in that round of 32, I guess it was.
Yeah.
Manning did a great job.
Yeah, taking them to the 3rd round, and they have almost everybody back as well. That's what's really impressive is how much young talent was out there across the board for the conference, with 6 teams going to the NCAA tournament, and so much of that is back.
Utah, once again, ranked in the top 20. Stanford was the #1 team in the country. They lost to Florida on the road 3-2 earlier this week, but give Stanford a lot of credit for traveling all the way across the country and playing a really good team on their home pitch.
Definitely so. That's a tough road trip.
First time we've seen Santa Barbara able to get some numbers forward here. Comes in the 15th minute, quick throw in. The phrase that Paul Stump, the Santa Barbara coach, used with me before the game, I said, look, it's UCLA. Are you going to change what you do? And he says, what's that old saying about you always dance with the date that you brought? this is who we are. We have to play our style. We can't change who we are or what we do. And that guy's a 2-time Big West Coach of the Year, most recently in 2015. So, he was laughing, and I love coaches like that. He looked at me and said, Jim, it's not brain surgery, it's soccer.
That's right. He said they're still really establishing and starting to establish what they want to do. Still a couple of pieces missing, a couple of question marks.
Ball tried a little heel flick there, trying to find one of her teammates in the rearview mirror, but UCLA is so good on that back four. There's a lot of experience back there. And then we haven't even had a chance to mention Teagan Micah, the UCLA goalkeeper.
Yeah.
I think touched the ball for the first time right there. Started every game the last 2 years. And her goals against average 1.3 coming in, even considering the 2 goals allowed against Santa Clara. Matlich play it out wide. Sanchez, a couple of assists against Santa Clara. Scoops the ball to Goralski, far corner of the 18. Goralski wins it back, left foot. Reverses and lays it back.
Great spacing and patience by UCLA.
Nice hesitation there by Matlich to get free. Takes on 2. Is it deflected? No. It'll be a goal kick for Brittany Rogers and Santa Barbara.
Gabrielle Matlich trying to get the corner, and instead the double team pays off for the Gauchos.
UCLA getting a lot of big names back offensively. Jessie Fleming, of course, 11 goals in her freshman season. Annika Rodriguez had 8 assists. Mackenzie Sertis, 6 assists. We already saw Max score in this game. Only goal so far came in the 11th minute. 1-0 UCLA. Bruins ranked 7th in the country. Preseason poll had them number 9. UCLA had the number 1 recruiting class in the country last year.
Yeah.
Number 2 in the country this year. That is good work by Amanda Cromwell, the head coach, the associate head coach, Josh Walters.
Yeah, incredible turnaround from their 2015 season. A big rebuilding season. They graduated a huge group of seniors, but she has pieced it back together.
Yeah, that 15 season was hard to watch because they had so much talent, and we kept thinking they were just kind of in a funk and they would play their way out of it. And it just seemed to be a lost season. They never got their rhythm, couldn't figure out their identity. But as you said, it seems a long time ago now. Played back. Shoemaker is going to stay close to her keeper, Brittany Rogers. Kate Shoemaker, number 8, the reigning Defensive Player of the Week in the Big West Conference, and the only player who's been on the field the whole time. There's Amanda Cromwell, UCLA head coach, 2013 national champions, and she was the coach of the year. And UCLA comes right back. So Cromwell was talking about how good her offense was with us on the phone and saying, we knew they'd be good. We didn't think they'd score this much. You never think you're going to score a record. Delaney Sheehan makes it 2-0.
Third goal of the season for the freshman, and from distance, powerful leg from Delaney Sheehan.
Nissan is the premier partner of the Heisman Trophy, and we surprised fans with this award-winning lineup.
Hey, George. Marcus Allen. Desmond Howard.
All right, are you guys ready to go train with us? All right, let's go do it.
Then, they experienced Nissan's award-winning lineup.
No blind spots.
I did the feature, I can do it.
It's Nissan's bottom line model year-end event. For a limited time, save up to $2,500 on the 2017 Nissan Sentra.
Will you take me to the Nissan dealership?
Hi, I'm Elise Zappia, UCLA Sand Volleyball. I'm from Huntington Beach, California, and I got into sports because I've always been doing beach my entire life since I was 11 years old. I just love being challenged. I love to learn, and the work ethic that I've had with school has carried over to sand volleyball, so I've just really learned a lot. Stein and Jenny have always been behind me and supporting me for all my academic endeavors, letting me know that it's going to be okay when I get overwhelmed about having a midterm and a paper on the same day. And it feels great. I just feel like I have a big family. I love being a Bruin, and they're all great people, and I just feel the love. I love it.
Beautiful swing from Zappia. And it's a Bruin point. First set goes to UCLA.
Elise Sapia, UCLA Sand Volleyball. Go Bruins.
Wednesday. Kick off the season with Inside Pac-12 Football Season Previews.
Watch out! Touchdown!
Join hosts Mike Yam, Ashley Adamson, and a collection of Pac-12 football experts. And get the scoop on what's in store for the Cards, Bruins, and Huskies. Wednesday at 7 on Pac-12 Network.
You want a whole bunch of leaders in your locker room that are kind of different. But if you can get a whole group of guys moving in the same direction with whatever style that is, then you've got a chance to be pretty good.
And it was almost nonchalant. She's outside the 18. She sees the keeper is not goal central, that she was moving to this near post, and so she had left open that whole backside, and Sheehan just steps into it with the left and slots it home from about 25 yards out, 2-0. Sheehan is that player we were talking about early. That is a big surprise for UCLA. She had 2 goals against Long Beach State in that win, including the game-winning goal. Had a brace in that game.
Sheehan, a finalist for Gatorade Player of the Year out of Brentwood.
Here it is, Matlish, the throw-in. And look, she just steps into this open space right here and drives it with the left.
Yeah, great finesse on that one, though. A good touch as she saw the defenders, read it well, was able to get away from a couple of them, and then just finished with her left.
So now this match is in danger of going sideways on UCSB. Santa Barbara needs to not necessarily score, but they have to start possessing this ball and asserting themselves, because UCLA is doing what they want right now. Run off it. And just give it up, and Karina Rodriguez able to clear for the Bruins. Chris, I know you mentioned it earlier, and it bears repeating maybe a couple of times during this game, that with all the attention on the UCLA offense, Amanda Cromwell always points out that the defense has a way to go. And she said, look, we just need to be more sophisticated. And we have the talent, we have the players. They just need to do it now.
Yeah, reading the opponent, being better at reading the opponent, with the experience back there.
So I think now with a 2-0 lead early, UCLA will begin to put the emphasis here on their defense, at least in terms of the focus from the bench. Haley Mace runs through one defender, takes on a second, gets the elbow out, then gets tripped up. My goodness, let him play. Sunday night football in Westwood. 3 collisions on that drive, and eventually both players ended up on the ground. Kristen Peterson, the referee, let him play, and I'm okay with that. The directive, I believe, from Sandy Hunt, jump in on this. I think they're saying that they want the referees to establish early that you can't have inadvertent contact, and then start to relax it as the match goes on.
Boy, that's a play changer right there, though. I don't know. I think there maybe should have been a whistle to go UCSB's direction, but I'm with you, though. I like it when they let them play, and I'm not against letting them have a little contact out there.
Well, both players wanted the contact. They leaned in for it. Sanchez now looking up into that setting sun. It's going to dip behind the Palisades here in about a half an hour. Fleming, who seems to be unchallenged at all times because of the respect factor. And a takedown behind the play. Mace dropped again. And this is a foul. Sydney Magnet, I think, gets called for it for Santa Barbara. And now you can see that Kristen Patterson, our referee, now is saying, look, I'm letting you play, but I'm not going to just let it go. And she was quick to blow the whistle that time. That was over the head of Sheehan. Into the 23rd minute. 2-0 Bruins. Mackenzie Serta had the opening goal for UCLA in the 11th minute. And Delaney Sheehan just a couple of moments ago. Bruins enjoying the home pitch and the home crowd, because they're going to be going on the road They're at BYU on Friday, and that starts a road trip that includes 3 games. We'll talk more about that a little bit later in the match. Annika Rodriguez gave that one away at midfield. You're not going to see that twice in a match. Here comes Santa Barbara trying to get a good look. They're still without a true shot on goal. Out near midfield, Ryan Kokoska. Push on the Bruins. It'll be a free kick here for Santa Barbara, and I believe that's their first set piece of the game. They go quickly. Amanda Ball, their leading scorer, with 3. Got it with each foot, but couldn't find a teammate. And Rodriguez comes back. Space right down the middle. Plays it forward to Haley Mace. Mace is well marked and holds it up, looking for help. Back to Sheehan. Claire Winter. Those two right in the middle of the park. Now Matlich, who likes to work right along that near touch line. Kai McCullough always so steady on the ball, but had no option other than come back to K-Rod. Karina Rodriguez. As does Winter. UCLA's possession nearing a minute here. Kenzie Serta to the left foot, looking for somebody on the back post. Annika Rodriguez nods it wide. So good rush by UCLA. They built from the back, took their time, tried the right side, reversed it, and finally came in from the left. Serta with that service, and maybe just a little behind where Rodriguez wanted it. She had to hold up her run to win that ball in the air. Delaney Sheehan going out. Viviana Villacorta comes in for the first time, but not surprising. Villacorta shows up in every match. We're in that lucky 13. Santa Barbara's got to be a little apprehensive right now. Amaya Zabalza turns and tries that other side. She's the only freshman to start this year for Santa Barbara, so you wonder what she's thinking about on the road facing the number 7 team in the country, a team that lights up the scoreboard and already has 2 in the first 25 minutes. Mace. And if you saw the Santa Clara game, she was just terrific. Scoring on a header, stepping through to slot one home inside the 18 between 2 defenders, and then right before the half on a beautiful feed by Matlich that started from Kaya McCullough in the Bruins' end. Scored with about 30 seconds left on the clock and just crushed that one. There she is. Mace so calm on the ball. Got a little air underneath that one. And it was not deflected. She just missed it. No, check it. It was deflected. It's going to be a corner kick. It looked like it just by the way it came off her foot. Mackenzie Serta will take the corner for UCLA. Most of the Bruins congregate just at the edge of the 18 to start their runs. Now here comes Ashley Sanchez just in case UCLA wants to go short corner. And Santa Barbara marks. Serta drops her hand and puts her foot into it. Line drive to the far post. Matlich was there trying for the one-time volley and missed it wide. Into the 27th minute, the match looks exactly like it did at the beginning. UCLA dominating play, and Santa Barbara relegated to countering. Shaylin Mirison goes out for Santa Barbara. Kate Post is in. Trying to get the legs warm. I want to let our viewers know that Krista Blunt was not feeling well, so she stepped away. you're wondering why her voice has gone silent. Rodriguez out of her own end. All the way out to Matlich, who did well to win it. Steps around another defender and plays it back to Winner. Lindsey Voss is now in there for Santa Barbara. She wears the 10. And here's McCullough, who I mentioned has been playing so well. And every time Santa Clara seemed to have a rush up that left side, she would quell that attack so quickly and usually just running an attacker off the ball. And I use the phrase dismissed because it was so clean. She doesn't have to slide tackle much. Here's Fleming with the left foot. Fleming tried to slide one inside to Villacorta. She was cut off by a couple of defenders. Serta run off of it. Well done by Zabalza. Remember Zabalza, the freshman. Another MIDI product from Northern California. There's Villacorta. Back to Matlich. You like that Matlich is always looking to go direct. That's her first instinct. The head is up, and she's looking to take advantage of a defense. When it's not there, then she makes the high percentage pass to a teammate, tries a different attack point. McCullough brought that one into the attacking end. Here's Sanchez, who's really good as a facilitator. Pirouettes back, loses a defender, and takes the shot herself. Too much air underneath, it clears the bar and out. Into the 30th minute, it remains 2-0. Mackenzie Serta picked up her second of the year in the 11th minute. Delaney Sheehan in the 18th minute, her third goal of the season, both for UCLA. You can see the UCLA fans on the far side sitting on those metal bleachers with the reflection, umbrellas up, hands over the eyes, everybody wearing sunglasses, but then again, it is the west side of LA, and you can't leave the house without your wraparounds. Winner back to McCullough. McCullough is an offensive-minded defensive player. And look at that ball. Corner to corner, just out of the reach of Sanchez, but a good idea, just lacking a bit of execution, but I love the shot. Would have been a good angle on that far side if she was able to run it down. And it would have made Brittany Rogers go post to post. Most of Santa Barbara's passes now have been shortened up. Just under 15 minutes now remaining in the first half. The game kind of going as expected for UCLA as Kate Post got tripped up. That's a foul on the Bruins. 21-on-21, Fleming for UCLA.
You're watching Pac-12 Los Angeles, home of the UCLA Bruins and the USC Trojans. Available on Time Warner, Cox, and Bright House.
Hi, I'm Haley Burleson. I'm on the University of Washington gymnastics team. I came to visit the University of Washington, and I wasn't really sure how I was going to like it because Seattle, it's rainy, supposedly, and it was very far away from home. When I came and visited, I absolutely fell in love. The campus is beautiful. The people here are very nice. The whole atmosphere here is just very family-oriented. I think that student-athlete means that you're a student first, obviously, and an athlete second, and we're given this awesome opportunity to get a degree, but we're also able to do the sport we love collegiately. So it's really cool. But I definitely think that academics definitely come first. I mainly compete 3 events, floor, vault, and bars. Bars is probably my favorite event. There's just something about swinging and like flying over a bar that's so exciting and exhilarating. It's just so much fun.
Double back dismount. Great landing by Haley.
I'm Haley Burleson. I'm on the Women's University of Washington gymnastics team, and go Dogs!
You're here to buy a used car, truck, SUV. That's smart. TrueCar can help. It's great for finding a new car, but you already knew that. It's also great for finding the perfect used car. You'll see what a fair price is, and you can connect with a TrueCar certified dealer. So no matter what you're looking for, there it is. This is how buying a used car should be. This is TrueCar.
Saturday, it's a football quadruple header. First at 11. Can the Beavs protect Reser Stadium from crosstown rival Portland State? Then at 2:15, there's a lot of hype around the fourth-ranked Trojans. Will they prove it's more than just buzz? And at 5:15, new head coach Willie Taggart is ready to make an impression. Then, cap off the night with a battle in the Grand Canyon State. Can Rich Rod's Cats send the Lumberjacks packing? Coverage begins Saturday with the pregame show at 10.
Kate Post, who grew up down here in Southern California, and Santa Barbara's not that far away, of course, just up the coast a little bit. Hermosa Beach product. Went to Notre Dame Academy, which is out in the valley. First time that Tegan Micah has had to come off her line with some drama. And quickly she gets UCLA's offense going the other direction. Sanchez dispossessed. Well done. Mallory Hramatko, preseason All-Big West Conference for Santa Barbara.
You can see that they're settling in a bit. The passing's getting cleaner, and you're going up against a very aggressive attacking UCLA team that will come right at you. And so if you're Santa Barbara coming in, it's going to take a little time to adjust. It's going to take a little time to settle yourselves down and hang on to it.
I wondered if Santa Barbara would actually get a little angry, saying, we're better than this.
Yeah.
And just let it go a little bit. Chipped in, trying to go to post. McCullough was there marking and trying not to foul. You can see that McCullough, the much bigger player on post, knocked her down, or at least on contact, she went down, and McCullough immediately put her hands in the air to make sure that the referee didn't blow a whistle. That would have been a PK.
Yeah, Coach Stump told us before this, he said, the room for error for us is very small. We know that. But we're in great shape. Good conditioning coming in.
Sanchez ahead to Mace. Mace beat the initial defender, but couldn't get by the secondary.
Haley Mace, she's so active and so busy. Very difficult to keep up with. Such a tough player to mark.
Good to have you back, Krista. I was running out of adjectives.
I'm glad to be back.
Yeah. Well, now the shadows have reached all the way across the field. As you see, Tegan Micah, the goalkeeper for UCLA for the last 2 years, and really just seized that job and did it with her play. Solid feet, doesn't make a lot of mistakes, all the things you want to hear about a goalkeeper.
Brittany Rogers once again. She's been tested quite a bit, but the junior has a lot of great experience. And, for this Santa Barbara team, they're still questioning who's going to be our starting keeper. They've looked at Maddie Julian as well, a senior, but they have experience from both. And right now, it's Brittany Rogers getting the start.
From Murrieta and Murrieta Valley High School. She was last year's regular season starter. Good feet, according to her head coach, Paul Stump. Now, she only goes 5'7". Maddie Julian, the Cal transfer, is 6 foot.
Yeah.
So, of course, she's going to be better in the air.
Yep, a lot of it will come down to matchups and who they're going up against as the season goes along, and because they both have strengths and they both give up certain things.
Trying to play it forward to Amanda Ball. That would be the target player for Santa Barbara. Ball had 10 goals last year, all conference. Already 3 this season.
Coming off of Big West Offensive Player of the Week honors. 3 goals in their first 2 matches. One of 4 seniors for the Gauchos. She had 10 goals last year, you mentioned. And she only played in 16 matches. She went out at the very end and didn't get to finish the season because of an ankle injury. So she did a lot of damage in a fairly short amount of time. I'm really impressed with the composure of the Bruins and the patience and the ability to work it all the way back through the back line, take it right back to Tegan Micah, switch field and come across and see what the opportunities are.
And doesn't that circle us back around. We were talking about they start 7 freshmen and sophomores, but not true freshmen, sophomores, because of their international experience, or at least the fact they played on some pretty big-name travel teams. A lot of them have been called into camps before.
Absolutely.
And so we're using maturity, talking about young players.
Yeah, they're used to facing more mature, older players through that sort of play, high-level play, and no matter who they face in the other jerseys on the other side on this pitch, it doesn't faze them quite as much. You see Ashley Sanchez, the freshman, the incredible player she is.
Already with 2 assists against Santa Clara, the #1 recruit in the country from nearby Monrovia. When I say nearby, it's probably only about 10 miles from the UCLA campus or 3.5 hours by car.
Yeah, Coach Cromwell.
Traffic humor, Krista.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
I caught that.
Just want to make sure you're
I'm a little late. I'm a little behind. I'm delayed in this broadcast. I've been delayed in most broadcasts, really, Jim, but especially this one.
Good for you, playing hurt.
But you know, Sanchez, she's just scratching the surface, according to Coach Cromwell, as we see Sunny Dunphy coming in. And Sanchez will get a breather.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting because Sanchez looks so good against Santa Clara, and then she said, Amanda Cromwell says, she's so good, she's just scratching the surface. That one goes off the side of the net. Sort of making a bid, second time for her second goal. So she's right on target. A reminder coming up here in a little less than 8 minutes now. We'll send you back to San Francisco. It's the Pac-12 halftime report. Chris Francis on the desk tonight. Lots of soccer all over. Saw Colorado earlier today against UC Riverside. 5-0 at halftime. I think they ended up winning it 6-0.
Yeah, they did.
Karina Rodriguez knocks it out. That's the prudent play. It'd be a throw-in for Santa Barbara.
Got the chance to see the Buffs on Friday night, and a nice win for them against TCU. It was a close one. They were tested, but
1-0 final?
Yeah, they'll take the victory. Still working out their attack, but a lot of talent back for the Buffs.
And, you know, last year we always know Stanford's going to be good. USC ended up being a lot better than people thought at the beginning, but we expected them to be good. UCLA is always right there. But to me, it was Utah and Colorado last year that really lifted the national profile of this conference.
And I remember when one of my final matches last season, talking about awards, possible Coach of the Year awards, and I had to split it between Danny Sanchez for Colorado and Rich Manning. Those were my picks. No, they didn't get them, and there's nothing wrong with Paul Ratcliffe at Stanford, but I just couldn't help it. I thought what they had done, the turnarounds that they had for their programs were just phenomenal, and so I had picked them, but Stanford won the conference last year. They're picked to win it again this season. But UCLA right up there, picked second.
Yeah, I think Stanford's won it the last 2 years now.
Yeah, they have, yep.
Which is, you know, that's the trivia question over at SC. They've won 2 national titles, 07, 16, and they didn't win the conference in either year.
They almost don't want to, right?
Yeah.
It's almost better if they don't.
Seems the formula, sneak up on people. Chloe Castaneda is in there now for UCLA, the redshirt sophomore from Encino, just over the hill. Where's the number 3? That's her with the ball. Back to Winters, operating inside the midfield stripe. Monica Rodriguez. Heel flick. Trying to get a little cheeky back to Max Serta. Santa Barbara was wise. Stayed in position. And again, the defensive play was made by Mallory Hramatko. That's the second time she's made really good plays. Coming way out off her line is Tegan Micah.
And I like what they tried to do right there. I think that it started with the defense. It started with Hramatko, and she just kept coming. She's definitely capable of being a scoring midfield defender, and she'll come up and able to keep going and trying to catch the Bruins before they got set.
Haley Mace's run off of it. Dare Tarosian there, Sophia Dare Tarosian for Santa Barbara, number 51.
starting to see UC Santa Barbara. They're definitely now into their attacking third and taking it through the midfield a bit more here late in this half. The Gauchos settling down, getting better spacing. They came in wanting to play their style, and it's exactly what they've been able to do a little bit more here late in this half, but it's taken away by the Bruins.
Sonny Dunphy, a lot of space to work here. Cruises across midfield to Castaneda. Matlich. See, Matlich always makes a defender work, and she comes at you from so many angles, spinning both feet, looks over her own shoulder, can play it forward, can play it crossfield or back quickly.
Hate when that happens when you're out there and you get the flat. Got to get that fixed.
Don't forget the Pac-12 halftime report comes up and we'll reach 45 minutes. Women's soccer, SMU and UW went to extra time. And on the men's side, UCLA is ranked number 21, and they put up a 5 on USF. It's all coming up with Chris Francis at the break. UCLA on the attack. Annika Rodriguez drives one low and hard. Brittany Rogers dropped to a knee to deny the effort. Well done on both ends.
Boy, and something on this one from Annika Rodriguez, the redshirt sophomore.
Such a good touch there.
Wow, she's got a strong, powerful leg and a nice knockdown by Brittany Rogers.
She knew what she was doing the whole way, so she just wanted to lean to get that defender to bite. Cuts it back to the right foot, stepped right into it. And well played by Brittany Rogers. Kristen Patterson, our referee. Going to bring in the substitution right now as the clock runs in the 43rd minute. Said, you want in? Now's the time. Stoppage in play. Come get it.
Substitute for the Gauchos.
Selena Alvarez comes in.
First action for Alvarez, a freshman from right here in Los Angeles.
And that is a giveaway. You got ball here wide open. She's their leading scorer. But Ramadko kept it herself and took the shot. Ball was at the top of the 18, begging for it. Not a bad decision by Ramadko because she was in a pretty good scoring spot as well. But they've been trying to get ball some space to work, and she finally had it. It would have been a dangerous player with the ball at her feet.
Yeah, exactly what you need to do if you're the Gauchos. You're down in your attacking third. You haven't had a lot of open looks and opportunities. You could see that the Bruins weren't quite organized and set up on that back line, trying to take advantage.
And you know what Santa Barbara's thinking. We've been outplayed for 44 minutes. If we can get one here, we're right back in this thing.
Yeah.
Because they have played much better here in the last 15.
They definitely have. They've settled down, done much better with their patience and spacing, passing.
Sonny Dunphy trying to put a little nutmeg there in the corner on Schornstein. Chase played it well. Ramadko this time tries to go forward to ball. Rodriguez marking her. Villacorta. That hit post. She tried to switch it.
Bruins have to be happy with the touches that they've been able to connect on and possess here in this first half. They've really held possession well.
Final seconds. Matlich sends it goalward. And it floats into the waiting arms of Brittany Rogers. So a good first half for UCLA, and I would agree with you. UCLA got a lot of touches. They were very active offensively. We know that they are an attack-minded team, high caliber. We saw a lot of different players attacking. And again, we see goals from Sheehan, that's her third, and Mackenzie Serta, but not necessarily the big names like Fleming and now Haley Mays. So UCLA showing that, you take away one, we have another one to replace, or in this case, two. Paul Stump, Santa Barbara head coach, on headsets now. Paul, look, the first 15, 20 minutes, I think your kids were just trying to find themselves. I thought you played much better the latter part of the half. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I would agree with that. We wanted to come in here, and if we were going to give up a goal or two, we wanted them to earn them. Definitely the first one was a great little goal. The second one, unfortunately, our goalkeeper, who we thought was going to be a little better with her feet, turned the ball over unnecessarily. They go and score on the next possession. So I think they're finding their way into the game, which is good. And I think we can do a couple of things at halftime to try to deal with all the space and all the openings that they've got to cover. So I'm looking forward to having a little chat with the girls, and hopefully we can possess the ball a little bit better over the next 45 minutes and cover some of the movement just a little bit better.
And Coach, your team defensively started to maybe push some tempo. You were able to get some takeaways. Looks like the passing cleaned up, and you held UCLA to just one corner kick. You feel like the team kind of settled down and got some confidence.
I'd like to think so. I'd like to think that I'd like to think that they found a little belief in themselves, and I think we do have to pick and choose our moments. To press as a group, we don't want to get too expansive, like I said, but I think we might have to come out of our shell a little bit and press a little bit more in the second half.
Yeah, you need a break, and you're right back in this thing.
Yeah, let's go.
Thank you for the
girls
time,
love
Paul.
it. They're having a great time.
Appreciate it. Good luck second half.
Thanks, guys.
Paul Stump, who's the winningest coach in school history at Santa Barbara, two-time Big West Coach of the Year. He's won 171 times. The last 2 years, they've been 26, 12, and 3. This is a good side, Santa Barbara, but UCLA leads at the break 2-0. On the other side, we'll go to Chris Francis in San Francisco in the Pac-12 halftime report.
Okay, I picked out my dream car. Now's the really fun part. Choosing the color, the wheels, the interior, everything exactly how I want it. Here's the thing. Just because I configured this car online doesn't mean it really exists at a dealership. But with TrueCar, I get real pricing on actual cars in my area. I see what others paid for them, and they show me the ones that match the car I want. So I know I can go to a TrueCar certified dealer, and it'll be right there waiting for me. Today. Right now. This is TrueCar.
Tuesday, kick off the season with Inside Pac-12 football season previews.
It'll be good, and it could be great.
Join hosts Mike Yam, Ashley Adamson, and a collection of Pac-12 football experts. Get the scoop on what's in store for the Wildcats, the Beavs, and the Trojans. Tuesday at 7 on Pac-12 Network.
Coach Kelly, she motivates me to play better, to practice more. For Coach Kelly, academics is first and golf is second. She's very supportive in whatever major you choose, so she'll adjust practices for you depending on what you need to do. I really enjoy the relationship that I have with her as a coach player. Olivia Brown, Washington State, women's golf. Go Cougs!
I totally understand the high bar of excellence that come with the job. I welcome them with open arms because as a coach, I expect them of myself to win championships.
You're watching Pac-12 Los Angeles.
It is the 25th anniversary of women's soccer on campus at UCLA. 11 Pac-12 titles, including 2 of the last 4. 20 times they've gone to the NCAAs. And, of course, they won it all in 2013. 2-0 at home. Marshall Field at Drake Stadium and leading Santa Barbara here. 2-0. UCLA comes in number 7. They are 3-0. It only took them 11 minutes to score. Zoe Goralski set it up.
She kept it out wide, and she was being hounded defensively, but beautiful play and finish. Mackenzie Serta.
That is a quality play by Serta. Got the foot on it and redirects into that back corner. And then just about 8 minutes later, Gabrielle Matlich gets it to Sheehan. And Delaney Sheehan with the left foot. It was just kind of nonchalant. At first I thought it was going wide. Brittany Rogers didn't even get a glove on it.
I think a bit of a surprise for the Gauchos in that it was off of a throw-in, and she was way outside with the big leg of Sheehan in the finish.
So 10 shots for UCLA and just a mild rolling shot into the hands of of the UCLA goalkeeper. And so 10-1, and that brings Amanda Cromwell on headsets. And Amanda, when we talked earlier this week, your offense has been terrific, and it was again. So we talked about the defense, and you said, I want to see more from my defense. Well, It was 10-1. You held them to one shot. It was kind of a mild look in that first half. Did your defense look better?
Oh, yeah, much better. I think we're more alert on everything. Set plays, throw-ins, we're ready to defend. We're not taking any mental, physical breaks, so it's good.
And you were able to use your bench. You were able to bring some players in to get some good looks, in particular Annika Rodriguez being aggressive. What did you like from some of the players that got a little extra time there at the end?
Well, we have great players coming off the bench, and they raise the level, I think, and they bring in fresh legs, and now these defenders have to deal with a whole other set of problems. They're different in how they attack. They're not cookie-cutter type players, so they have to deal with different skill sets.
Amanda, so many good stories on this team. Delaney Sheehan scores in the first half, and I was talking before the game with Josh Walters, the associate head coach, about how she finds her way to Westwood. It isn't the usual route, is it?
It's not, and Haley Mace's way to Westwood was not the usual route. We'll look under every stone.
Find them wherever you can. Appreciate the time as always, and congratulations on the early success. Keep it going. Amanda Cromwell in her 5th season and 3 NCAA tournaments in the first 4 years, and UCLA is sitting at number 7 right now. Now this is going to change because Stanford has lost. West Virginia was the early number 1. They were number 1 last year as well. There's USC still in the top 5. Utah and California at the very bottom amongst the top 20. Again, it's going to be a strong year in Pac-12 women's soccer.
Oh, it absolutely is. There's going to be some shifts, but nonetheless, great to see them coming out and immediately getting some respect from across the nation.
So the conference has won 3 of the last 6 national championships, but what you notice on that graphic, no one can repeat in this sport. It's been pretty tough. Notre Dame, then Stanford, UNC, the Bruins, Florida State, Penn State, and then USC last year. And I think about half of the teams on that list were as surprised that they were not number 1 when the tournament started.
Yeah, and for so many years, North Carolina dominated, and they repeated after repeat after repeat. And now you're starting to see more parity. Now you're starting to see other teams, other conferences stepping up and getting in the action.
So we flip ends, and we'll see if Santa Barbara can manufacture a little bit more offense. Down 2-0, maybe they play a little looser, maybe a bit more direct. Of course, you're trying to do that against the number 7 team in the country, UCLA. Villacorta, nice ball, won right along the end line, kept it in, and a nice service as well. Shot taken by Sanchez. Didn't get much on it, maybe chunked it a little bit with the ankle. UCLA keeps it on the throw-in.
Important for the Bruins to come out and immediately be aggressive, get themselves set, not allow the Gauchos. I think they probably built some confidence late in the first half and not let them get settled in earlier than they did in the first half.
See, UCLA just suffocates. They cut off even the shortest pass. Step right in, just get a toe on it, knock it away. Trying to go out wide. Goralski, who did so well on that assist on the first goal to Serta, really created the entire play and then made a beautiful cross, and Serta with some magic in the air to drive that ball on the volley into the back corner. That came in the 11th minute. Delaney Sheehan in the 19th minute officially. And that's where we stand. 2-0 UCLA. They've outscored opponents 16-4 on the season. They don't have a shutout. That was one of the things that Amanda Cromwell was talking about. She said that the games against San Diego State and Long Beach State, her first comment to us on the phone, those could have been, maybe should have been shutouts.
Yes.
You win 5-1, but you wanted the clean sheet.
And it's not to take anything away from the opponents. She said, we're playing attacking style opponents, but it's what she's expecting from her team.
Julia Hernandez in there wearing number 10 for UCLA. I don't think she played in the first half. Gets the nod here to start the second 45. Up 2-0, so it gives Amanda Cromwell and Josh Walters, Jenny Bindon, and Sam Green, that's the coaching staff for UCLA, gives them all a chance here to maybe go into the bench a little bit. Remember, that was one of the things that Cromwell was talking with us on the phone earlier this week about blending personalities, understanding what the culture is going to be of this team. getting the rookies involved, finding successful combinations, and then, of course, minutes. Players always want their minutes. And she said, I look down the bench sometimes and I say, holy cow, I got people that have been called into the U.S. Youth National Team sitting on my bench waiting for minutes. How am I going to find them?
Yeah, players work so hard in their training and their practice time and in their matches. And she said, we want to reward them with minutes, and it is so hard to find enough minutes for everyone. I mean, it's a good problem, and she knows it's a good problem to have, but it's very tough for the coaching staff that trying to find the right combos and give enough time to everybody.
Matlich is finally fouled. That's been a good matchup, those two, Hromadko and Matlich.
Yeah, it's been quite the physical battle. Great challenge in the middle between those two. Well, and an interesting thing for both of these teams, we talk about how so many of the Bruins have played together on national team play, club teams, high school play. A lot of these Santa Barbara players played right along with a lot of these same UCLA Bruins.
Well, sure, Southern California is one of those areas in the country where the club teams are exceptional. You're playing year-round, so the competition continues to percolate up every year. Even the high school teams in Southern California are always good and nationally ranked.
Absolutely, and some were teammates, but some were competition all through that play as well.
Mia Corta now plays to Olivia Athens, also playing here in the second half for the first time today. This one's chipped in. Hernandez with the header. Julia Hernandez just standing in front of the goal, delivered perfectly, and she nods it home. 3-0 UCLA.
You could not draw this up any better. The Bruins take it out wide. Sanchez, beautiful lofty cross and perfect angle with the header by Julia Hernandez. Oh, a beautiful finish. You could just see the confidence, the composure, her body control, Jim, as she came across there with the header. She knew she was flying to her left. She had to keep her head angled and down to the right. What a great play by the junior.
And for Hernandez, that's her fourth goal on the season. She had a couple of goals in the season opener against San Diego State. She had the final goal in the 5-1 win against Long Beach State. So she scored in 3 of the 4 games. And not even starting.
What a perfect setup by Ashley Sanchez. And the finish from Julia Hernandez.
Remember that this is the second team, the reserves now that are playing for UCLA, and it's what we were just talking about. When Cromwell looks at her bench and sees somebody like Julia Hernandez, two-time Spanish U18 national champion, waiting to go into the game.
Oh, they're starters for so many programs.
So this game was still in the balance at 2-0. Granted, UCLA was out playing Santa Barbara, and the Gauchos hadn't manufactured any offense, but soccer is a funny game, and sometimes just a strange bounce or a misplayed ball. And it's 2-1, now it's a game, but UCLA seizes control here with a goal in the 50th minute. Julia Hernandez. She only had 1 goal last year, although she did play a good game in that exhibition against Beijing Normal. I think she had 2 goals in that exhibition. Played an awful lot last year at 19 of the 22. Here's Ashley Sanchez, the #1 recruit in the country, already with an assist today. That's 3 in her last 2 games. Scans the field, gets a little help. Borowski steps over it. Sanchez sends it inside and beautifully placed. And Olivia Athens right there, trying to hit it with the outside of the laces into the roof of the net. Just missed it.
Great positioning by Olivia Athens, number 14 for the Bruins.
With the service.
And the big leg. She's so strong. And the defense able to get back just enough to cut off the angle. That time it was Shoemaker there.
Athens, another reserve, and another youth national team member. I mean, this UCLA team is just loaded right now.
Yeah.
It's not always the formula for success. Sometimes they don't blend, but wow. Pretty good right now, aren't they? Sunny Dunphy looking for some help. Athens is there again. They never made a decision. Somebody should have taken a shot.
The defense did a nice job for Santa Barbara there as they shifted Sunny Dunphy. They made her go out to the left. She knew she had nowhere to go. She had to bring it back out.
For Santa Barbara, this is a strange field for this group because they were 2-0 coming in, and this is the second year in a row that Santa Barbara has gotten off to a hot start. The Gauchos were actually 8-0 last year to begin that campaign. But then they finished 5-6-1. They dropped their final 4 in conference. Marissa Savoldi coming in. Kate Shoemaker on her way back to the bench.
Shoemaker working hard on that back line.
If it weren't for that late season fade, they would have made the NCAA tournament.
Yep, definitely so. But the Big West Conference getting stronger and stronger. Long Beach State is picked to win it. This Gauchos team picked third in the preseason, and the Bruins have already faced Long Beach State, got the win 5-1. But they are a much improved program that's done very well the last couple of seasons.
54th minute, UCLA scored twice in the first half. Serta in the 11th minute. Sheehan on a miscue by Santa Barbara came in the 19th minute. And then here in the 50th minute, early in the second half, Willie Hernandez from Sanchez. 3-0 Bruins. You know, if you go and look at the Bruins highlights from this year, no cheap goals.
No.
You know, I mean, we've had 2 acrobatic volleys. Fleming had one earlier this year, Serta tonight. It's already a pretty good highlight reel into the 4th game.
Just incredible. They've had so many different players finding the back of the net. That's what also really stands out to me, is just how many different options and how many different players there are for them.
Ramatko turning against Matlish. Those two always finding themselves in the same place on the field. Headed away and goes in.
That one was just lofted up high enough and took so much time that it was difficult for Tegan Micah, the keeper for the Bruins, to read the timing on this. You see her come out. She's just not quite sure between bodies and the timing of the ball coming down.
It's Maddie Gibson for Santa Barbara between 2 defenders and the keeper, and just too much traffic. It almost looked like UCLA held up all their runs, expecting a teammate to get there first. And Maddie Gibson just never slowed down. It's her first goal. She had an assist against Idaho.
That's got to be building some confidence for the Gauchos. Got to make them feel a lot more settled, and here they come again.
Comes in the 55th minute, and Santa Barbara's got some traction now. That's what coaches tell you, play all the way to the whistle. That's just going to roll out. Was it untouched? Maybe a goal kick.
You're here to buy a used car, truck, SUV. That's smart. TrueCar can help. It's great for finding a new car, but you already knew that. It's also great for finding the perfect used car. You'll see what a fair price is, and you can connect with a TrueCar certified dealer. So no matter what you're looking for, there it is. This is how buying a used car should be. This is TrueCar.
Nissan is the premier partner of the Heisman Trophy, and we surprised fans with this award-winning lineup.
Enjoy. Marcus Allen. Desmond Howard.
All right, are you guys ready to go train with us? All right, let's go do it.
Then, they experienced Nissan's award-winning lineup.
No blind spot.
As a feature, I can do it.
It's Nissan's bottom line model year-end event. For a limited time, save up to $2,500 on the 2017 Nissan Sentra.
Will you take me to the Nissan dealership?
You know, the easy explanation on that on the goal would be that the UCLA keeper, Tegan Micah, has to come out off her line and grab that ball. It's her job. She's facing that attack. She needs to come out. Is it that simple? I only saw it, once live and once on the replay, so tough to really decide. Plus, you never know if one of the defenders called her off.
Well, and that's the thing. She had two experienced defenders back trying to help her and off the line, and the communication going on down there. It is hard to know, and just because of the way the ball came down, it's hard to say what was being said down there between the three Bruins.
I don't want to hang it on her, but normally you would say that keeper's got to come out and seize that ball. Ramato into the corner, drags two Bruins alongside, chips it in, far post. Could have been dangerous. Post was there. So we'll look at it again now. Let's see. This ball gets chipped in, and you can see that Gibson cuts behind one of the UCLA players. And I think Tegan Micah was just a little hesitant coming off the line. You can see her here. She's not quite sure. Double pumps there. You know, just a fortunate play by Santa Barbara. I mean, the ball lands kind of in the donut of the defense.
Well, two defenders dropped down. The help D came back. I think the speed of Maddie Gibson threw everybody off, and she was able to step in front of that second help defender that came down, and it's because she was able to step in front that she got position, and that threw Tegan Micah off as well. But excellent foot speed by Gibson.
Goes in the book, and so for all the success UCLA has, again, no clean sheet. We still have a lot of soccer to go. Santa Barbara to get another goal here fairly quickly. It would really change the complexion. It'd be interesting to see how quickly Cromwell would go back to all the starters.
Well, as talented and as capable as every single Bruin is, there's a lot of different combinations that are out on the field right now, and a nice job right there, the back line getting organized, setting themselves back up. And look how far the defense is pressing and attacking by the Gauchos. They're staying much more forward.
Winter just got knocked down, and that'll draw the whistle. The UCLA ball here. A challenge from behind as well. And that'll usually draw the whistle and sometimes the card. Oh, it was just inadvertent.
Caught from behind, and good to see Claire Winters come back up, the redshirt senior.
Nice spin via Corta at midfield. Athens lays it out wide to Matlich. Matlich, nice cutback, gets it to her right foot. A second defender chips it to the far side, and it's headed wide. Sanchez making a bid for a goal here in the 59th minute. Snuck in, and a beautiful service.
The ability of Gabrielle Matlich to hang on to this ball and keep it out wide. Little hesitation, drew a second defender, and that just opens up things for the rest of her teammates. A little step in by Sanchez, but just too far wide.
Just beautiful stuff from Matlich. Kept holding on to it. Everybody kept waiting. The defense rocking onto their heels, and it would still be at her feet.
Boy, the ability, though, to be able to do that and what that does to open up things for the rest of your team. If you can just hang on to it a little bit longer, and boy, she can.
She certainly had the attention of the defense, and that's why Sanchez was able to sneak in unchecked on the far post. Didn't miss by much.
So close. She had multiple options in the box as well.
Taken away from Hernandez. Here's Kate Post, midfield for Santa Barbara. And she's run off it by Athens.
Now a little bit more pressure. Gauchos again. Not just going to let the back line set everything up the way they want to. Good job by the Bruins, though, to bring it back through the middle.
Matlich again. Look how much space she has. Sunny Dunphy chops it. That was just miscommunication right there. She thought Athens was going to run to the corner, and Athens had held up her run. 61st minute. Santa Barbara's in the book. Maddie Gibson in the 55th minute. UCLA 3-0, number 7 in the country. Santa Barbara unranked at 2-0. And picked third in the Big West preseason poll.
A very difficult team to match up with. Scoring at a high level, and so many players have scored. 7 different players have gotten a goal on the season so far.
They were like that last year, UCLA. 12 different players scored for the Bruins last season.
Just remarkable.
Is that balance? Is that when coaches talk about balance?
Yeah, you think?
Yeah.
I love the assist.
12 of my 26 have scored.
The assist number being right there as well. It means others are setting them up, getting them involved. Seeing that a lot throughout the Pac-12.
Yeah, you have 25, 26 on your roster and subtract 3 goalkeepers. So more than half your roster has a goal.
Yeah, who do you defend?
Well, that's the thing. And I was talking with Paul Stump, the Santa Barbara head coach, and I watched the Santa Clara game, and Jerry Smith, the legendary Santa Clara coach, said they all said the same thing. It's not like you put 2 or 3 on Fleming, because then Haley Mays goes for a hat trick.
Yeah.
Nice work by Sanchez.
The Bruins have had to work hard for the corners. I give Coach Stump's team a lot of credit, and the defense has really been good at clearing it out, not giving up corner opportunities.
Gauchos trying to return to the NCAA tournament, have been there since 2009. Paul Stump has remade this program in his own image. He took over in 1999, and the program only had 5 wins in the prior 2 years. He won 9 his first season. They knew they had a good coach. That ball loose on the backside. Matlich tees it up. And I would have liked to have seen Matlich step towards the ball rather than rock backwards. She had that open net, but she was trying to be real calm over it. Golden opportunity. This ball squirts out the backside of the fray. Look at Matlich. And there's the rock back.
Multiple Gauchos thought they were going to get the header and be able to clear that, and instead it went just a little bit further to Gabrielle Matlich. But she was just too far out as the D started coming right back at her to recover.
I got a creak in my neck, in my step, cramping in my muscles every time I try to flex. All of the words get but if you don't know what to do,
Hi, I'm Todd Graham.
We play up, we don't play down.
Head football coach at Arizona State.
I'm telling you, we got a chance to be a champion.
You're watching Pac-12 Network.
Matlich, a member of the USU 20 national team. She's been terrific today.
Yeah.
To me, she's UCLA's best player on the pitch, and they've had some pretty good ones today, but she's creating so many things, and she's had the ball at her feet a lot today, more than any other player in white.
Yeah, one of 6 seniors for the Bruins. Has national team experience. She had just 3 starts last year. Sociology major. She's a playmaker, though. That's definitely something that Coach Cromwell says about.
That's exactly what she is. Perfect.
Gabrielle Matlich.
And crystallized my thought. And who doesn't need one of those or more? I mean, with all this talent, you need somebody to start it, right? Somebody's got to light the match. Delaney Sheehan has a goal already today coming into the game.
Picked up the goal on the 19th.
3 goals and an assist now for Sheehan. And it looked like that was Dunphy who went to the dugout.
It sure was. Yeah, Sunny Dunphy. She's played well coming in off the bench.
And this game it's kind of mirroring that Santa Clara game in that a lot of people come to watch Jessie Fleming because she's just such a remarkable player. she didn't get a lot of calls in that Santa Clara game, but when you and I talked with Amanda Cromwell, she was quick to point out the impact that Fleming had on that match and how important she was to the UCLA attack.
Yeah.
And I bet the same thing is going on today. And she said, and I believe she was talking to me, she said, if you don't have an educated soccer eye,
is that what you said?
And I think she's right, that you're not going to see it. You're not going to notice those little things that she does.
She does. She just opens things up for everybody else. She's getting a chance to rest.
And that doesn't happen often.
It sure doesn't. She's just the 4th last year freshman from UCLA to take home All-American honors, which surprises me as well. They're really surprising me so far this season with so many things. They've had such incredible success and so many amazing student athletes over the years.
Yeah, this team is set up now for a deep run in the NCAA, and they're not going to say it out loud, but this team is being built to win a national championship.
Yeah.
And isn't that the goal anyway?
It sure is, yeah.
Jessie Fleming, 11 goals last year, was second in the conference, all Pac-12 first team, an All-American, 4th UCLA freshman with that, top door soccer freshman of the year, and this year top door soccer put on their best 11 to start the season.
Yeah, Fleming had the game-tying goal last year with just 2 minutes left against West Virginia to send that one into overtime. She really brought it last year in that first season and has just continued on now.
She has the sweats on, so I doubt we're going to see her again, but a long season in front of us, and I would tell people that, and this is kind of how I explain Fleming, is to me, she's always playing at a different speed than everybody else. Not necessarily faster. Sometimes when the game gets frantic, she slows down.
Yeah, and it's not getting any easier for the Bruins as they're going to hit a fairly lengthy set of road matches.
That's right.
At BYU, at Weber State, and then at Virginia. A true test in their non-conference play.
Yeah, going back to Amanda Cromwell's alma mater where it all started.
Yeah, an All-American there.
And Cromwell, talking about all the national team experience, Cromwell has the most because Cromwell played 55. She got 55 caps with the U.S. national team.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
She won the Herman Trophy, went to the Final Four, 2-time All-American. I mean, just a tremendous talent.
Yep.
So I bet you some of her younger players, especially when she starts to recruit them, they might Google it.
Yeah.
And they, oh my goodness.
Yes, exactly.
She knows of what she speaks.
We would think that, but I don't know. Coaches always say they don't care what I did.
That's what they say, but
But I don't know. I think as a student athlete, they have to know.
Back in our day, you didn't know unless you went to the library and pulled out newspapers and microfiche.
Yeah, these coaches are a big reason that these players go where they go.
Sure. Well, and a school like UCLA is going to help recruiting too, isn't it?
Oh, it sure is.
Matlich rolls one to the middle of the field, and I think Hernandez lost her footing there, trying to put it out in front. Spanish national. Matlich again, on her feet to Sheehan. Tight quarters along the touch. It's deflected by the Gauchos. UCLA throw-in. 68th minute, 3-1. UCLA built a 3-0 lead before Maddie Gibson scored for Santa Barbara. More substitutions for the Bruins. Claire Winter coming off. High five from Josh Walters. And Marley Canales comes in for the first time today. Canales came off the bench in the first 2 games for UCLA, freshman from San Diego and Westview High School.
And Jim, there's Amanda Ball, the leading scorer for the Gauchos, and she's been very quiet. We really haven't said her name much. There's
Sanchez going out. We'll set them as we go. Lots of subs. It's early in the year. Here's Goralski now. Annika Rodriguez back to Goralski. Goralski's very good from that place of the field. She almost loves to take it all the way to the chalk before making her decision. She's in no hurry. Some players love to drag it as far as they can because it just increases the angle and the sense of urgency for the defense. Hernandez juggling it along that end line. Can't keep it in. Reach the 70th minute. Well, Paul Stump said it was going to be a test today for Brittany Rogers, the Santa Barbara keeper. It certainly has been that. You know, keepers, they love games like this because they want to challenge themselves against the best. They hate games like this because it balloons their goals against average, which is kind of their badge of honor.
Up to this point, the Gauchos had not given up a goal. They knew that would be a tough task.
I don't think they expected that streak to survive coming in, do you?
No, I don't think so.
Ramatko says that's ours.
But I've been pretty impressed with the organization of the back line and the defense by Paul Stump's team. These Gauchos have done a solid job.
They've always been a good offensive team under Paul Stump. He's produced 6 Big West Conference Offensive Players of the Year, 3 Freshman of the Year awards. And talking about a school that helps recruit itself. Goleta? Really?
Yes.
You drive, when you're going onto campus at UC Santa Barbara, if you don't turn the wheel at the last second, you're on the beach.
That's right.
You got tires in the sand.
Yes, you do. And this is a team that graduated 9 seniors last year, but only about 3 starters out of that group. So they've got some experience back. They've got high expectations. Again, picked 3rd in the preseason in the Big West, and their hope is to make a run in the Big West tournament. And they'd love to make it back to the NCAA tournament. And you just never know when you're going to put it together.
Yeah, it's got to gel. I mean, you can recruit, you can train, you can set them up, travel, build that schedule. But if it doesn't come together, I mean, it's up to the players on the field at one point. They just got to play. Athens, well done to Sheehan. And you can see that Hernandez was saying, put it out in front of me. Sheehan keeps it herself. And Brittany Rogers has to make the diving save to keep it out of the cage. Sheehan making a bid for her second.
I like this move. A beautiful little crossover to get away. Lose one defender. Had enough of an angle, but a big play by Brittany Rogers, the keeper.
And when Sheehan didn't give it to Hernandez the first time, Ulia was then in an offside position, so Sheehan had to keep it herself. It turned out to be a lethal shot. There she is again. Sheehan, Serta, and Hernandez, the 3 goals for UCLA. Gibson for Santa Barbara. Monica Rodriguez has run off of it, but it'll be a UCLA corner kick.
How about the speed of Rodriguez? 4 defenders back for the Gauchos, and she was out there with all 4 of them.
Here comes one of the goal scorers back into the game, Mackenzie Serta for Gabrielle Matlich, who's been really good today for UCLA. Even my uneducated soccer eye can see that one today, yes.
Yes, you got that one.
Serta will take it. And swinger from the left side. And a lot of organization. Villacorte is right in there between the keeper and one of the defenders standing on the goal line.
A beautiful job clearing that out by the Gauchos, and here they go. They're going to try to take advantage.
Ramatko and Goralski. Goralski forcing her back to middle of the pitch, and Ramatko says, I don't think so. I'm going wide. Runs off her foot and goes over to UCLA. So well played by Zoe Goralski. Goralski and Winter of those players, you say their name a lot during the match. On your way out, you're talking to fans, 5, 6, 7 names come up, and you have to inject Goralski and Winter.
Yeah.
Because they're so solid. They just kind of play their position, do their job quietly, don't make any mistakes. Karina Rodriguez lost that possession. UCLA defense able to recover. But I love players like that, the ones that you start thinking about on your way home. Chance here for Santa Barbara. Shaylin Murison, I thought, was going to get a little bit more out of that.
Not able to hang on to it. Gaucho's looking for those opportunities, and as Coach Stump said, he said, we can't just do it every time, but we've got to read when we get those chances. Yeah, there's a lot of key roles to be played for this Bruins team, and it's not easy because you have so many superstars, but it is crucial and so important to have those players that maybe don't always show up in the stats.
Wow, Hernandez, great job to keep this ball in play, then steps over it, brings it back to the right foot, tries to go to Rodriguez on the far side, never got to Annika. Ramatko tracks back to pick it up for Santa Barbara. 75th minute. 15 plus to go. UCLA looking to improve to 4-0 before they hit the road. You mentioned it before, Krista. At BYU on Friday, at Weber State on Sunday, and then September 7th at Virginia. And back into the game comes Jessie Fleming.
BYU and Virginia both ranked in the top 25 this past week. So 2 of their next 3 ranked opponents. We didn't think we'd maybe see Fleming come back in, but here she is.
Fleming's the scariest 5'4" player in the country.
She is.
It's amazing when she gets the ball at her feet, defenses almost freeze. They just kind of stand and give her a little bit of space, wondering what she's going to do. I remember calling her first game last year. She made a play at midfield where she just spun with the ball and 2 defenders moved away. She just broke right between them because they've never seen that move before. They just assumed she was going to go wide or go middle. They covered both of those. She kind of stepped over the ball, brought it with her back foot, rolled it forward, never broke stride, and UCLA had a good look at it. Didn't score, but I still remember the move. And it got an ooh out of the crowd.
Well, as she reached things so well, I could just see her kind of tracking back, trying to find the openings. It's the little things. Honestly, you'd look at her. I don't know if you'd pick her for your team if you were just
That's right, if you didn't know who she was.
You didn't know who she was, you know. Nothing flashy, gets it done.
She's a constant reminder that soccer is played with your feet, right?
Oh, yeah. But capable of flashy, that's for certain.
Yeah, she's a lot of fun to watch.
She's going to be a big target for so many teams, and knowing that, she's got to find a way to get herself open. But that also, it's a role that she will play this year in helping her teammates find openings.
Right. So I think what you're saying there is that her numbers might not be that impressive because she's just not going to. She's going to have so much defensive attention. She's not going to be the target.
Yeah, very, very much a possibility. Although already 2 goals, 3 assists in 3 matches, but
and here she is.
Still, I guess we just have higher expectations for her.
Serta on a sprint. There's lots of options here. Sheehan runs onto it. They called offside. Boy, we haven't had a lot of offsides called in this match. That might only be the second.
Yeah, we really haven't. Both teams have played fairly clean. Not a ton of fouls.
Right. Little contact early on, but our referee Kristen Patterson did a really good job. I think at one point she just said, "Okay, that's enough. I'm calling that." And since then, both teams have concentrated on soccer.
Yeah, I mean there may have been fouls. They weren't whistled upon, but it's been a pretty physical match.
I'd rather have a referee err that way, letting a little too much go than not enough.
I would also.
I think players get frustrated, and it affects the run of play.
Yeah, and it hasn't felt out of control because of the lack of whistles.
Marley Canales there, 23 for UCLA, getting involved. Annika Rodriguez playing it around the defender, trying to catch up to it, and there's a big collision. Both players down and stay down.
And which direction does this go? Because it looks as though the Gauchos, that's Grace Carter, number 2, a freshman.
And the referee has stopped the clock to allow Grace Carter a little bit of extra time, but both players remain down.
Holding that left ankle, and then Rodriguez, using her speed, catches up with Carter. So Rodriguez kind of leads herself out there. Carter already ahead of her, and then Rodriguez trying to get position.
Yeah, getting that shoulder in front.
Yeah, brought that right arm through, and then it's the trip.
Yeah, 50-50 ball with players going the same direction. And you can see that Grace Carter's in some distress on that left ankle. So both trainers are on.
Oh, that's very...
Grace Carter, a Torrey Pines High School product from down in San Diego. So you would guess that she has some family here that met her in the middle, coming down from Santa Barbara, and they're coming north.
Yeah.
I don't know if she got stepped on. In the meantime, Annika Rodriguez's injury is up near the elbow. And that's Amanda Pruden, the new trainer for UCLA.
Amanda very kindly came up and chatted with me before the match, and I was a little under the weather before this one.
Yeah.
Gave me the glucose stick. Said,
"How you feeling? You better?"
Hydrate. I'm feeling a bit better.
It's impressive. You were a little dizzy when I got here. Weren't sure you could go.
Courtney's been
here you are.
pampering me with fruit snacks and all kinds of wonderful treats.
You see, that's where we're different. I get a bad haircut, I'm out for a week. You know.
I'm in. Put me in, Coach. That's what I say.
Hey, here comes Grace Carter.
I hate to see this for Grace Carter. Really unfortunate.
Hop into the bench. And this is one of those cases. You just hope it's not nearly as bad as it looks right now. You hope it's maybe just a rolled ankle, but can't tell. No way to know, but keep an eye on Santa Barbara for the rest of the year and see how fast Grace Carter can be recalled into the team.
Played for the San Diego Surf Club team. They were national champs in 2015. She gives them good height and good size out there and length at 5'9" and athleticism, so hopefully just something minor and they'll be able to get her back.
Yeah, freshman getting quality minutes for the Gauchos.
Yeah.
There's Rodriguez right there who is involved in that spill. She's saying, I want to come back in. Can I come in now or do I have to wait? Yeah, I can come in now. And back to soccer we go.
So on top of it goes against the Gauchos and perfect positioning for the Bruins.
Fleming flicked it out to Rodriguez, and then Brittany Rogers comes off her line to get to it quickly. And that's a decisive play by the goalkeeper. Can't be easy for Brittany Rogers, a regular starter last year, and then Maddie Julian graduates from California, still has a year left, comes to Santa Barbara for her graduate work and decides to play, and now they're splitting time.
Yeah.
Anybody's pride be challenged there.
I think it's great to have competition in that spot, though, and it is up for grabs, and you just never know when you're going to be called upon. And I, like I said, I feel that Maddie Julian, because of her size and because of her ability in the air, depending on certain opponents, she's going to get the start at times, and Brittany Rogers will at times, and it'll kind of weed itself out, and it'll figure itself out.
Yeah, I agree. They kind of play themselves into the minutes. Comes UCLA again. Another controlled rush. Haley Mace at the hat trick against Santa Clara. Rolls one inside to Fleming. And Rogers makes the stop, spills it, able to get back up and get it again. Well played by both Mace, Fleming, and finally Rogers. So look at Rogers, a little attitude with the walk. He says that's one of the best players in the country, and I just stopped her point blank.
Boy, just slicing through to get spacing. Fleming with a rocket leg there right at Brittany Rogers, and so much on it, it bounced right off of her, and luckily for the Gauchos, no Bruins there to kind of clean it up.
I was surprised there were no Bruins there because you know Fleming is going goalward, and if she's not going to score, it's going to be a tough save, so you're almost anticipating a rebound. Castaneda back to Canales, midfield. Into the 80th minute now. So if Santa Barbara wants to make a headline, they need to score here quickly and make this game interesting. Canales overran it, came back, swatted at it with the left, and a takeaway by the Gauchos. Lindsey Voss plays it backward. This is what UCLA does. You play back, and they just press forward.
Yeah.
Stay right on you. Castaneda again. There's just no room to breathe.
And that's why Coach Stump said we got to come in and try to just play our style, because the minute you try to start kind of packing things in or changing what you're doing, they're going to take advantage.
Here's Fleming again, and you can see was not in a hurry. Fleming, with that tempest swirling around her, the ball's at her feet, she's just almost with a slow pace, forcing that defense out of shape and to make a decision.
Very calm, relaxing presence out there, and you also have to love that.
Gibson, the goal scorer, comes back in. Sydney Magnan to the Santa Barbara bench. So Stump is still up. He knows that even a second goal here, he walks out of here even with a 3-2 loss. Some people are going to raise eyebrows at that, but if they get a goal here, it's going to make the last 7-8 minutes pretty interesting.
Well, and to me, there were so many positives for the Gauchos to take from this match up to this point, and there's still plenty of time left to keep adding to it.
We talked to Paul at halftime, and he admitted the first 20 minutes they didn't play so well. They were kind of finding themselves still very early in the season, and he was a little upset with his keeper. She had made a critical mistake that ended up leading to a goal. You take that one off the board, you're looking at a 2-1 game. But if you're a UCLA fan, you say, well, then our starters would have been in longer, and, everything's the butterfly effect, right?
But, some teams, if you don't play well 20 minutes against the UCLA
it's
Bruins,
over, yeah.
it's over. So I think they definitely made up for it in other areas when it wasn't going so well in some places.
And that's the thing that I'll take away with Santa Barbara is that, they were in a position they could have quit. They could have untied the boat and let it drift away, but they came back and they played well the last 20 minutes of the first half. Sure, they gave up a goal early in the second half, but then they came back from that as well and scored. Gibson getting it. Kept in.
What hustle! Somehow Rodriguez able to hang on to that one. Keep it in. She is speedy.
J.C. Peterson came in a few minutes ago. Sophomore from Palo Alto, wearing the 19 for UCLA in the back end. She is with the ball.
Peterson, 6 starts last season for the Bruins. Played in 17 matches.
There's Fleming. Goes down on the ball, draws the whistle, and then puts it right back in play to Mace. Rodriguez spins and goes wide to Sheehan. Sheehan draws 2 at the edge of the 18. That's Ramatko defensively for Santa Barbara. Dispossessing. Well done.
Gauchos clogging things up a bit more. Bruins going to send it out wide again and try to work on that spacing.
All the way back to Peterson.
I like the patience. I like this idea. Let's work the other side. Wasn't working over on the right.
Change
go back
the
left.
Point of attack, sure.
Yeah.
See if you get that defense out of shape. Serta. Fleming in the midfield with 3 defenders paying attention, and that was a giveaway by Fleming, trying to shape that ball, but that's a tough one. Going all the way across the pitch, headed back in. Castaneda.
How about this possession for the Bruins?
Over a minute.
Really impressive.
Serta with both feet and poked away. Defensively, that was Colby Parker for Santa Barbara, being challenged by Mackenzie Serta, second on the team last year with the 6 assists. And her second goal today, one against Long Beach State. Scored the first goal of the game. Throw in, goes all the way to the 6, untouched, and bounces to Brittany Rogers. Well, if this score stands, then Delaney Sheehan ends up with the game-winning goal, the second for UCLA.
Yeah.
She already has a game-winning goal. That was at Long Beach State. Monica Rodriguez. Again, a Bruin attacker draws 2 defenders. Takes him at the end line and is still able to chip it up and just off the gloves. Paintbrush by Brittany Rogers, the goalkeeper. Slowed it down but couldn't stop it. Ball still loose in the 18 and fortuitous bounce as it rolls right back to Rogers.
Well, it was the right idea. It was started by Annika Rodriguez on the far left side as she was just barely able to keep it in and get the cross.
How did she get that cross?
But no one there. She had the right idea. And the Bruins didn't give up on it, but just not quite the positioning.
I thought that was a lost cause. She had 2 defenders on her, went all the way to the end line, and then finally just chipped it with the left, and it was beautiful stuff. Just over the keeper's reach. That back post. Picked up by Castaneda. Well played. Rodriguez just lays it out for Sheehan, says, go get it. Dercharosian defensively for Santa Barbara. Here it is again. So 2 defenders. Poked away, she recollects, steps over, goes all the way to the end line, and then look at this stuff.
I mean, it was placed perfectly. The timing just a little bit off. I think it was Sheehan coming in and just couldn't track it down.
And you know what Sheehan was saying? I should have been there earlier.
It was a good idea.
A couple of steps earlier, and that ball would have landed at her feet.
You know, it was such a pretty pass. She got caught watching it is what happened.
So did I. Sure. 3 minutes left to play. At Drake Stadium, Marshall Field on campus at UCLA. Jim Watson, Krista Blanc. We're getting our first-hand look at the number 7 team in the country, UCLA. I watched their Santa Clara match the other night. Pretty impressive stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, there's going to be some shifting in the rankings after this weekend. And I would imagine the Bruins are going to shift up a ways.
Well, it'll be interesting to see what happens to Stanford and how far they will fall after the 3-2 loss at Gainesville. You know, I don't think there's anything to be ashamed of with that. Those are two quality teams, and it's a 1-goal difference.
I really don't believe they'll fall too far.
Yeah, who's going to drop them?
Yeah. And it'll be a matter of taking a look at everybody else, too, and just...
Saley Mace. Mace stepping around a defender. Mace goes wide. A beautiful run by Mace, and just failed to finish.
Well, she set herself up here. Look at the beautiful crossover. So with the left, it looks as though she maybe catches just the inside, the arch of her foot a little too much, maybe even the back of her heel. Just missed.
She knew where she was going.
Yeah.
You see peeks at the goalkeeper, sees Rogers come to this side.
But Brittany Rogers did an excellent job, the keeper for the Gauchos, in trying to close off the angle as best she could. Coming off that hat trick. It never fails. So Haley Mace's probably thinking, okay, I had 3 the last time, and I haven't gotten one yet. It's as if they used them all up the match before. Others have gotten it done for her, though. Junior from Ventura. How about switching from being a center back and a defender her whole career to now? She was a forward, though, throughout some of her younger play, but Coach Cromwell said she's really not been in this position at this level, and she's really taken it very well.
Sheehan, still hungry. Rolls one inside. Fleming with the left. They gonna let it stand? Yes. So watch this. Sheehan to Fleming. Watch Fleming with the left, just poking at it, and that's Mace inside with the putback.
Sometimes it's the deflections, and the Gauchos wanted the offside call. But right place, right time. Beautiful finish. I just mentioned that Haley Mace had gone on a drought. Oh, they're not going to give it to her.
Now they're taking it down. Yeah, I saw the flag go up as well. It went up and then went down.
Well,
and the referee's assistant, he pointed to goal kick right away.
I thought, well, Haley Mace is either very stoic and not going to celebrate that goal, or she knows something that we didn't quite see.
She knew where she was. She was too close to that post to be onside. Just tried to get away with it. But that's a good call. And that'll end it. It's not really going to make much difference as UCLA wins at 3-1. Here's the offside. Watch Mace running right in the middle of your screen. So now she's in an offsides position. Only the goalkeeper. You need a goalkeeper and a defender.
Yep.
It's okay. She had 3 the other night. Amanda Cromwell and UCLA get the win, and they improve to 4-0. So, again, every time I watch UCLA, you get impressed. You see a little something extra from them. I thought the defense was much better for them tonight, and this offense is fantastic for the Bruins now. 17 goals in 4 matches.
I thought they were very well organized. I was impressed with the Gauchos as well. This was a good, competitive team coming at the Bruins. A good test for them because now they got 2 of their next 3 ranked teams on the road.
That is going to do it for us. For your producer, Steve Elkin, Dan Becker, your director, and Krista Blanc, my courageous partner, playing through the illness today. Good for you, partner.
Thank
nice
you,
work.
Jim. You've been a pro. Let me tell you.
UCLA wins it 3-0. Serta had a goal in the 11th minute. Sheehan in the 19th minute, and Ulia Hernandez in the 50th minute. For UCLA, now that ends the homestand. Next up, Friday at BYU. And then they go to Weber State on Sunday and Virginia on September 7th. For all of us here in Westwood, I'm Jim Watson saying so long. The Bruins, number 7 in the country, still perfect.
Hi, I'm Jim Mora,
Let's commit and let's go do it.
head football coach at UCLA.
I got to feel your passion.
We are after greatness, man. And you're watching Pac-12 Los Angeles.
My name is Nagedi Abub. I'm a junior here studying accounting and finance, and I play volleyball for the University of Colorado.
Nagedi Abub, put it down.
I love numbers and I love money. It's kind of an ongoing joke with our team. I'm kind of obsessed with money, and that's why I decided to become a business major. Balancing academics and athletics at CU is tough, but it's not doable. Like, we have mentors, tutors, academic coordinators, and they're always willing to bend over backwards to make sure that you succeed. I love going to school here because there's so much to do. We are not very far from the Boulder Reservoir, and there's also the mountains, and there's skiing, and there's so much to do. So Boulder has it all.
Block is there, and in the middle of the game, Nagedi.
My name is Nagedi Abub. Go Bucks!
I'm Katrina Long, Senior Women's Administrator at UCLA. I originally wanted to study the great apes in Africa and be Jane Goodall. To pay my way through school, I started tutoring a variety of special interest students, and eventually I started working with athletics. It just was a world in of itself. I really felt there was a need that some of the kinds of innovative educational support we were doing for other special interest groups of students were not being done with the athletes. And so I wanted to have the opportunity to try to give the kids a better chance.
Katrina and I clicked immediately. I think the thing that I really appreciate about her as my boss or as someone in the athletic department is she does think outside the box. And it is always with the student athlete's best interest at heart. To have that trust in your boss is exceptional.
And this is why I love her so much, because she'll do it. I'll say, come on, P, do it. She'll say, okay.
I've come to know Katrina as a friend, as a person who has relied on her wisdom and her counsel, her amazing talents. When you think about Katrina's impact, to limit it just to UCLA doesn't do her justice. She's been a significant player in college athletics for many, many years.
I have a bit of an unusual philosophy, I think, in athletics. I feel that kindness is really important. We're in a very, very competitive field. Let's also remember that kindness has a place. We're not fighting wars. We're in an educational institution. So let's remember to be kind to one another and our competitors, and it extends to sportsmanship and all, and I think that's really a true Bruin value. There's thousands of kids whose lives I've had a chance to participate in through their college years, and that's just been really, really a huge joy. And I love the freshmen this year just as much as I love those kids from 38 years ago. This is a place that people are passionate about. The people that are here are dedicated to it and to the vision that is this whole university. I've been grateful to be a part of that, and I will always feel like I am a part of that, and I hope that they feel the same way about me.
On the field, on the court, defining excellence, creating champions.
They win their first ever national championship.
Among the great teams of all time.
The program's first ever national championship. National champion! Now win Curtis! Impossible is nothing.
Unmatched, beyond compare. In the lead, the Pac-12, the first conference to reach 500 NCAA championships.
The opening day of NCAA volleyball, and we are in Los Angeles on the campus of USC, where the women of Troy are hosting the 16th ranked Michigan Wolverines. First day of action. Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us. I'm Anne-Marie Anderson alongside NCAA champion and three-time Olympian Holly McPaig. Holly, you've been through 4 of these opening days in college. What's key for these teams today?
Well, getting rid of the jitters and figuring out who you are as a team. It's so important, and this is a tough matchup right out of the box.
Yeah, Big Ten versus the Pac-12. For USC, there's a lot of unanswered questions.
Lots of power on the pins, but question mark at the setting position and in the middle for USC. Lots of new faces, 8 newcomers, 4 transfers. I don't think I've ever seen 4 transfers at USC, so lots of question marks on the USC side.
Meanwhile, for Michigan, they're coming off a fantastic year. They lost to Creighton in the round of 16. What's Mark Rosen working with?
Mark Rosen thinks he has the most physical volleyball team he's had in his 19 years at Michigan, led by Corey Crocker and Claire Kiefer-Wright in the middle, 2 of the best middle blockers in the country.
These teams scheduled a tough start to the day. They both played earlier today. Each came out with a win, but it's this Big Ten Pac-12 matchup that's going to answer some questions. We're going to take you through the lineups and first serve right after the break.
You're watching Pac-12 Los Angeles, home of the UCLA Bruins and the USC Trojans. Available on Time Warner, Cox, and Bright House.
At Nissan, we surprise fans with this award-winning lineup.
Eddie George, Marcus Allen.
Let's go do it! Then, they experienced Nissan's award-winning lineup.
That's incredible.
It's Nissan's Bottom Line Model Year End event. For a limited time, lease the Rogue family today, starting at just $159 per month. Get to Nissan, a proud partner of UCLA Athletics.
Who are these people? The energy-conscious people among us say small actions can add up to something humongous. A little thing here, a little thing there, starts to feel like a badge maybe millions can wear. Who are all these caretakers? Advocates too? Turns out, it's Californians. It's me. And it's you. Don't stop now. It's easy to add to the routine. Join Energy Upgrade California and do your thing.
Next, kick off the 2017-2018 season with a full week of non-stop football action. It's time to get your game face on. Kick off the 2017-2018 season with a full week of non-stop football action.
Hi, I'm Clay Helton, head football coach at USC. What a play! We will fight every day to be champions. You're watching Pac-12 Los Angeles.
Ready to play some NCAA volleyball. This is the opening day of the season for the collegiate teams across the country, and USC and Michigan have scheduled tough. USC versus the 16th-ranked Michigan Wolverines. Taking a look at Michigan, Holly, their strength we know is in the middle. Take us through the stars we should be looking for today.
Well, we talked earlier about Claire Kiefer-Wright and Corey Crocker, but Adasia Lambert and Carly Scott on the outside, very powerful duo. And at the